Have you ever felt like you were fighting a losing battle? Have you ever wondered why it is that the people who are lying about you and gossiping about you behind your back, or stealing from you or manipulating a situation, are getting away with it? Or they seem to be getting away with it. Have you ever wondered, God, where are you in the middle of all of this? If you're there right now, I want you to know that David also had these same questions. And David said in Psalms chapter 3, verse 1, Lord, how are they increased who trouble me? Many are they who rise up against me. Many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in God. David was saying, God, you know what these people are saying? They are saying that you can't help me and that you won't help me. But look at what David said immediately after that, that he knew that even though he was in the middle of the situation, he knew who God was. In verse 3, he says, but you, O Lord, are a shield for me. That word but is so important because it doesn't matter all of the circumstances and all of the things that had come before. He knew who God was, and he said, it doesn't matter because you, O Lord, are a shield for me, my glory and the lifter up of my head. I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill. David had the faith to know that when he prayed, and he obviously placed importance on praying, which we also need to do, that he knew that God would hear him. In verse 5, he says, I laid me down and slept. I awaked, for the Lord sustained me. The thing that I love the most about what that has to say is that David did not allow the circumstances of what he was going through to overwhelm him to the extent that he was going to live in fear and allow that to control his mind. He laid down, he went to sleep knowing that God was there and that God was working everything out. And in verse 6 he says, I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people who have set themselves against me round about. Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for you have smitten all of my enemies upon the cheekbone. You have broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongs unto the Lord. Your blessing is upon your people. Selah. And what he was saying here is that he made a choice. He said, I will not be afraid. You have a choice today as to how you will allow your circumstances that are out of your control to manipulate your mind. Are you going to choose to walk in fear of what is going to happen, or are you going to choose to walk in the faith that God has a plan for you, that he knows exactly where you are, and knowing that he is not allowing those people who are rising up against you to have any teeth in the situation? The way I read that is David said, you have broken the teeth of the ungodly. Now I might be misinterpreting the scripture, but the way that I read it is that David knew that no matter what it is that they were trying to do, that it would have absolutely no impact on God's plan for his life. And he said, salvation belongs to the Lord. He knew that there was no other place that he needed to turn. He did not need to fight the battle himself. He did not need to try to figure everything out. David knew that he was walking where it was that God wanted him to walk, even when it seemed like he was facing the impossible. So whatever battle it is that you're fighting today, know that God is your shield and that he is fighting for you. So continue to stand. Even if you are standing alone, know that God is fighting for you and that he ultimately will succeed. So keep fighting the good fight.